County Council will come to order. Please rise and pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carol, the optional prayer.
Next time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. Merciful God, help us to get on path. If we fail to appreciate or choose selfish ambition, rather respond to what our responsibilities are. Let us be compassionate and merciful rather than holding ourselves aloof and apart, judging and choosing our self-ambition. We ask for your advice and guidance, and we will receive your wise counsel with open eyes and hearts. Amen.
Thank you, Carol. Next, roll call, please.
Mr. Anderson,
Here.
Mrs. Fatika,
Here.
Dr. Faust,
Here.
Mr. Horton, Mrs. Lahl,
Here.
Mr. Rastetter,
Here.
Chairman Leone.
Here. Tonight is a special presentation on their 50th anniversary of the Children IMA. Ms.
Fatika will present an Erie County citation to Alice Niebar. Where'd she go? Oh, there she is.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to do this. Is this on? All right. Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to do this. This organization means an awful lot to me. So I would like to read the citation. Whereas Chosen International Medical Assistance is celebrating their 50th anniversary of ministry service to those less fortunate than we are around the world. And whereas Chosen began in 1969 when Richard Love traveled to a hospital with volunteers in mission. While in Korea, Dick's eyes were opened to the desperate circumstances under which medical missionaries labor. As an employee of AMSCO, major manufacturer of operating room and sterilization equipment, he began exploring possibilities to remedy those deplorable conditions. Seeing equipment trade-ins and items rendered obsolete at his employer, they would be priceless to Christian mission hospitals. Through his effort, started 50 years ago, Chosen International Medical Assistance has shipped equipment to healthcare facilities in 110 nations. And whereas Chosen serves as a distribution center for home health care items in the Erie, Pennsylvania region, receiving gently used equipment and new supply items such as wheelchairs, walkers, transfer benches, shower chairs, bed canes, unexpired diabetic supplies made available to our neighbors at no cost. And whereas Chosen International Medical Assistance distributed 2,350 home health items to members of our local community during 2018 alone. Over 9 items given out each day, their doors were open. And whereas Souls, S-O-L-E-S, Helping Souls, S-O-U-L-S, is an Erie Chosen program for the collection of used shoes, which then are used to create or sustain micro enterprises for low-income entrepreneurs in developing nations, keeping the shoes out of landfills and helping to sustain the organization. And whereas Chosen seeks to bring glory to Jesus Christ by providing top-quality medical equipment and by sending ministries teams to clinics and hospitals around the world, and by helping those uninsured or underinsured get medical equipment that they need. Now, therefore, we, the undersigned members of Erie County Council, join a grateful community in honoring Chosen for a mission based in love, and especially on this, their 50th year of service to people around the world and here at home. We have our hands set on the seal of Erie County for the 5th day of May 2019. Congratulations, Alice. Alice is a dear friend, and Bob is the president of Chosen right now, and Bob Deppen was unable to be here. He's the president of Chosen. He's a absolutely wonderful physical therapist that I've known for years, so I feel bad that he wasn't able to be here, but he did have some work related, so please extend my best wishes to him as well. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, I don't know if I can say much more than what is already in here. Really covered a lot of it. Just in the last month alone, we've given out another 198 items in healthcare equipment to people. So there's a need in our community that we're serving, and we're happy to do that. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to present this award. It will mean a lot to us at our celebration on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
The hearing of the public, by the way, if anyone has called in, they would receive 5 minutes. Anyone that doesn't call in receives 3 minutes. So anybody from the public wish to be heard? Once, twice, third and last time. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the previous
moved,
meeting
Mr.
minutes. Moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mr. Rastatter. Any comments on the minutes? If not, roll call.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mr. Horton, I'm sorry, he's not here, Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Chairman Leon.
Yes. Next, report of county officials, county executive and her designee.
None this evening, Mr.
Thank you. Finance Committee, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee met on Thursday, April 25th, and presented for tonight's agenda under new business A through F. And that concludes my report tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Next, Finance Committee, Mr. Rastetter,
Do you want me to?
or Personnel Committee, I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Go ahead.
The Personnel Committee met on April 25th and agreed to put item G on tonight's agenda, and that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any comments? If not,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
I missed item H. That was a part of the finance
Okay.
agenda. I apologize.
We'll make sure that's
See what
in.
happens
Thank
when
you.
joke around.
Okay, next, there is no old business this evening.
That was late.
I'll entertain a motion for second readings from items A through F.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, but also with that motion, could we add resolution number 19 to the
That's-
agenda, which would be
that's-
item number I, or, sorry, letter I.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Anderson. Any comments? If not, roll call on putting in second readings from A to F and including item I for resolution number 19.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes?
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Chairman Leon.
Yes. Next, under new business, first, or second reading of ordinance number 20, please. In title only.
A second reading of ordinance number 20, 2019, 12th 2019 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $69,921 in automation fees from prothonotary restricted fund balance.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mrs. Fatika. Comments? Roll call.
On ordinance number 20, Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes?
Chairman Leon.
Yes. Next, second reading of ordinance 21, in title only, Mr. Clerk.
A second reading of ordinance number 21, 2019, first 2019 Domestic Relations Fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $10,685, and new line items for genetic testing and filing fees.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mrs. Fatika. Comments? Roll call.
On ordinance 21, Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Chairman Leone,
Yes. Next is reading of ordinance 22 in title only, please.
a second reading of ordinance number 22, 2019, 13th, 2019 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $6,933 to domestic relations for genetic testing fees.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mrs. Fatika. Comments? Roll call.
On ordinance 22, Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Chairman Leone,
Yes. Next, second reading of ordinance 23 in title only.
a second reading of ordinance number 23, 2019, 14th, 2019 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $6,263 in state reimbursements for vehicle forensic training in the DA office.
So moved.
Oop, oh, sorry.
Moved by Mr. Anderson,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Rastetter. Comments? Roll call.
On ordinance 23, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Chairman Leone,
Yes. Next is second reading of ordinance 24 in title only, please.
a second reading of ordinance number 24, 2019, 2019 Children and Youth Services Fund budget, revised expenditures and creation of expense line for court-ordered placement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mrs. Fatika. Comments? Roll call.
On ordinance 24, Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Chairman Leone,
Yes. Second reading of ordinance 25 in title only, please.
a second reading of ordinance number 25, 2019, 15th, 2019 general fund budget, supplemental appropriation of $155,000 Stone Garden grant fiscal year 2018 through 2021.
So
So-
moved.
Second.
Moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mr. Anderson. Comments? Roll call.
On ordinance 25, Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Chairman Leone,
Yes. First reading of ordinance 26 in title only, please.
a first reading of ordinance number 26, 2019, 2019 Planning Fund budget, revised expenditures, and upgrade to director position.
Next is resolution number 18 in title only, please.
Resolution number 18 of 2019, approving appointment of deputy tax collector in LaBeouf Township, Pennsylvania.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by,
Take your pick, Mr. Chairman.
It's a chorus.
moved by Dr. Faust, seconded by Mrs. Fatika. How's that? Next. Any comments? Roll call.
On Resolution 18, Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Chairman Leone,
Yes. On resolution 19, I'm going to have it read in its entirety. This is the first time we're reading it, so I would like to have it read in its entirety. Mr. Clerk.
Resolution number 19 of 2019, a resolution creating a Census 2020 Complete Count Committee in Erie County. Whereas the United States of America has performed a nationwide census every 10 years since 1790, with the last census being in 2010, and whereas an accurate census is essential for the allocation of representatives to serve the legislative bodies of the U.S. House of Representatives, the Pennsylvania State Legislature, and within Erie County voting districts, and whereas accurate census information is critical to planning for future growth, development, and the social needs of Erie County, and whereas the more informed that residents become about the 2020 census operations, the better their understanding of the census process becomes, thus increasing their willingness to complete the 2020 census. And whereas the Census Bureau is not permitted to publicly release responses furnished by any individual or on behalf of any individual, or release information to any other governmental agencies, including the Internal Revenue Service, the Immigration and Naturalization Service Law Enforcement Agencies, or welfare agencies. In addition, per the Federal Cybersecurity Enhancement Act of 2015, census data is protected from cybersecurity risks through screening of the systems that transmit this data. And whereas the purpose of the Complete Count Committee will be to advise and assist Erie County in obtaining the most accurate and complete population count for the Census 2020 by increasing the number of county responses through a focused, structured neighbor-to-neighbor program, the committee will also utilize the local knowledge, expertise, and influence of each committee member to design and implement a census awareness campaign targeted to the Erie County community. Now therefore be it hereby resolved by Erie County Council that a Census 2020 Complete Count Committee is hereby established to advise and assist Erie County in obtaining the most accurate and complete population count for Census 2020. Be it further resolved by Erie County Council that the Complete Count Committee shall discuss and formulate strategies and techniques working with municipal and Erie County staff and Census Bureau officials to enhance and increase the response rate to Census 2020. The Complete Count Committee shall be responsible for planning and conducting local educational initiatives and for preparing materials to promote census awareness.
So moved.
Second.
By Mrs. Fatika, seconded by Mr. Anderson.
There we are.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just wanted to make a couple brief comments so the folks that are here are aware of a little bit of the conversation that we had in the back room and what we learned at the meeting today, which both Doug and I attended. As we passed a few weeks ago to allocate funds to create a position because of the economic impact that the lack of accurate counting could, in essence, have a positive or negative impact on our community. It's important to note that for every one person that is not counted for the census, that equates to $2,100 in federal funds lost in our community, and that's per year until the next census. So that's $2,100 per person for 10 years. And Erie County, through the Census Bureau, has been focused as one of the communities that could potentially have a higher than average miscount of census or loss of count. And so it's critical to our community that we do everything that we can, working together with the city and all of the municipalities throughout Erie County, the administration and council, to ensure that we get the best count, the most accurate count, and be able to get the best and most accurate federal funding dollars to our community. So this is, just seems to be kind of a formality that we're passing tonight, but it certainly is important, and not just a formality. And in the resolution that we're putting forward, essentially, we are working in conjunction with the COG and the mayor, who are formulating members that should sit on the committee, as well as the county executive. And it'll be a cross reference of people throughout the community, business leaders, labor leaders, all different aspects of minorities in our community, church groups, community centers. So the leadership of the community is going to play a very important role in ensuring that particularly new immigrants feel safe with giving their information away to government officials, that we are accurate in the count that we do, and that we feel confident, and the citizens can feel confident that we've done the best that we can do to ensure that we have an accurate count. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any further comments? If not, roll call on the resolution.
On Resolution 19, Mr. Rastetter,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Fatika,
Yes.
Dr. Faust,
Yes.
Mrs. Law,
Yes.
Chairman Leon.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We stand adjourned.